Gon's transformation is one of the greatest main character transformations in all of shonen manga and anime. It was a truly incredible and honestly terrifying transformation to witness. But on top of that, what sets it apart from other MC transformations in most shonen works of media is the fact that while most characters, when they get their big power up to triumph over the villain and after everything is said and done, they either return back to normal or retain the strength that they gained. In Gon's case, he suffered heavily, and this power came at an extremely heavy cost. However, much like with many things in Hunter x Hunter, this transformation might be a little bit confusing to you, and it might not make a whole lot of sense exactly how it happened. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is talk about Gon's transformation and explain how it happened and the things that went into the transformation itself. So by the end of this video, you'll have a full understanding of this incredible and iconic transformation towards the end of the Chimera Ant arc. Now this kind of goes without saying, but I will be going into Hunter x Hunter spoilers. So if you've seen the anime, you're good, but if you haven't watched the anime at all, then there will be some heavy spoilers in this video. So definitely tread carefully. Now, before I get into the transformation itself, I think it's a good idea to cover a few things about the power system of Hunter x Hunter to make it make a lot more sense to you. So as most of you probably already know, the power system of Hunter x Hunter revolves around Nen, which is a technique that allows a living being to use and manipulate their own life force, aka aura, in various ways. If you guys are fans of Naruto, then think of aura as chakra and think of ninjutsu as the Nen, where the ninjutsu or the Nen is the tool or the technique used to manipulate this energy source and create what you will with it. Now there are many finer details to Nen and the use of aura in the world of Hunter x Hunter, but we won't be touching that on this video. One area we will be talking about though is the existence of Nen vows. Now a Nen vow is essentially a restriction a user places on themselves in order to give a certain ability that they have more strength, more potency, or just generally more power. It might be a little bit confusing to understand just from that simple explanation, so let me give you guys an example. Let's say you are a Nen user and you want to use your Nen to create a strong sledgehammer to use in battle. Now in a vacuum, let's say you're able to create this sledgehammer using your aura. More than likely it would be just as strong as any regular sledgehammer. But if you wanted that sledgehammer to become stronger and more durable than any regular sledgehammer, and you wanted to, pretty much demolish an entire building with one stroke, this is where something like a Nen vow would come into play, where you set restrictions on using that ability in order to make it stronger. So going back to this example, if you wanted to make that sledgehammer stronger, you would pretty much make a Nen vow with yourself, stating something like, I can only use this sledgehammer between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day, and this sledgehammer can only hit non-living things. Putting these types of heavy restrictions on that sledgehammer would reinforce it and make it much stronger. And on the flip side, if the user were to go against this Nen vow and not follow the restrictions, it can lead to penalties as severe as death. So in summation, the stronger the Nen vow, the stronger the restrictions you put on a certain ability, the stronger you're able to make it. So now let's move on to Gon's case here, and this way it'll make a lot more sense. So during the Chimera Ant arc, Gon's main objective is to find Neferpito and pretty much make her bring Kite back to life and return him to normal, because at that time he was in this zombified state and Gon was driven by pure negative emotions to try to make this happen. Well, eventually Neferpito admits to Gon that there is actually no way that Kite can be brought back, that he will remain dead forever. And this sends Gon into a spiral of emotions that builds his anger up so much that he creates a Nen vow with himself to pretty much gain access to all the aura he will ever have, pretty much bring him to the height of his potential in exchange for never being able to use Nen again. So with this extremely heavy restriction put upon itself, Gon was able to gain immense strength, and seeing as how the amount of aura you have stored in your body along with the output that you can create determines exactly how strong you are or how powerful you potentially could be with your Nen abilities, this made Gon gain an immeasurable amount of strength and power for a short time, seeing as how he was a character that was shown to have extreme potential and was pretty much seen as a prodigy throughout the series. So with this Nen vow placed on him, Gon was able to gain access to all the aura he will ever have, which in turn also enhanced his physical form. As we see that in the anime or the manga, he suddenly transforms into an adult version of himself with his hair kind of elongated in this stream of aura hanging above his head. And that's another detail we have to kind of touch on, because the way aura flows through the body, more so with people that aren't experienced assist in controlling their aura, a human's aura is always surrounding their body and slowly seeping out of it, usually through the top of their head. And as we see in this transformation of Gon's, the amount of aura that he has is so immense that it's literally streaming out of the top of his head uncontrollably, and it just goes to show exactly how much power Gon really accumulated in that short amount of time. He was able to take his Jonken rock to a whole nother level, and his physical durability and speed was greatly increased. Now, it's not exactly specified if Gon gained this grown-up form due to the Nen Vow basically taking him to the age of where he would have the most aura he would ever have and be the strongest he would ever be, or gaining this immense amount of aura from his vow fortified his body enough to where it created this adult-like form temporarily. It's not really specified, but I guess it doesn't really matter in this particular situation. Now, after it was all said and done, after Gon officially got rid of Neferpito, the Nen Vow went into place, and Gon has not been able to access his Nen abilities ever since. And on top of that, his body was completely destroyed, and he was left in almost this mummified state, where if it wasn't for some help from Killua and Nanika, Gon would have certainly died. But just the fact that this transformation led to some extreme and very real consequences that are still lingering in the series and to this day just goes to show how incredibly written Hunter x Hunter really is. And although we won't know if Gon will ever gain back his use of Nen again, this scene will definitely be one that lives on as one of the greatest moments in shonen anime or manga.